Hey everyone, it's Nashwalk Steve here for another video. Have you ever had a set of switches in your house that you didn't like the placement of them? We have that a lot of places in our house, but this is one where we're redoing a bedroom. We're going to be putting some bookcases on this wall, and this, let's see, this guy right there. It's going to be right in the way of our bookcase, so we need to move it over to this side of the wall over here, which makes sense. When you open the door, you see the light switches right there, so we're going to try to do that. So first thing to do is I took the cover plate off, as you see here, and I took a drywall jab saw, they call it. This tool right here, it's about 6-inch long blade or so. I was able to see where the wires are, make sure that I'm not getting, on the side of the wires, and push this through and then jab through to the other side and make marks on the other side of the wall. Because inside here is a closet that we're going to be digging into on that side. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on the other side. All right, inside the closet here, you can see these marks where I poked through with the jab saw on the side and on the bottom, so I kind of knew where the box was. And then because I'm going to have to do some drywall work, I figured why go small and make it hard on myself, I'll just go big. So I took just a rough idea of what I need to cut out here. I took a utility blade and scored the drywall along these lines here. So we're going from this wall to this wall. So I'm going to take out a big chunk here too, because up above here where the wires come in, I have no idea where they're coming from. So there's a chance that by swinging this over, I might have to put the switch up higher a little bit, or worst case scenario, I need to make a junction box here on this side and then put the wires in through that corner and then over to here too. But either way, having a big area to work with when you're doing drywall is going to be much easier. And for patching, really, it's not a whole lot more work to have to do a couple extra feet of taping and mudding there. So I have the benefit of being in a closet, so my poor mudding skills won't really matter that much. I'm going to go ahead and keep scoring this until I get through the drywall with that utility blade, and we'll see what we have. The other option is to use a jab saw and cut through it, but it makes a really, I guess I'd call it a dirty cut this whole way, and just for patching it in, it's nice to have a nice clean cut. I'm going to reuse these pieces of drywall when I patch it. So we'll cut them out and we'll see what's behind here. All right, so I figured I'd try to get this reveal on camera here. So we're going to see if we can get this piece of drywall out and see what's behind it. It's a lot easier to push it back than it is to take it out. So we'll see if I can get a grip on here with this flathead screwdriver. It's kind of bound up in the corner there because I had to do a diagonal cut through there. So that's kind of where it's hard to get out. But if I do wreck a little bit of the drywall, no worries. I'm going to be taping and mudding all this back together again, so I can always fix that part. All right. There we have it. So we've got our outlet box here, or our 2-gang box for switches, and the wires go up like I was kind of afraid of, so I'm not going to be able to put this at the same height. I'll kind of see if there's any slack in these wires, and then see what height I could potentially mount this on over here. I'm going to have to find a way to drill holes through this stud and then through the other one as well on the other side, but at least I know part of the problem. We'll get the other side cut out and see what we find. All right, I got both sides of the drywall opened up there. Pretty good area to work with. It's about a foot tall, from here to here, so plenty of room to get in there. There's a wire staple about right up here I pulled out. I think what I'm going to try to do is, disconnect the wires from here. Obviously, you want to have the breaker shut off and tested, so we have no hot power here. And then I'm going to drill a hole through this stud and this stud, kind of at an angle, maybe so I can swing those wires through here, and then try to mount that box somewhere around here, probably a little higher than it was before, depending on how much wire I have. But once I get the wire there, then I'll kind of know where the box can go. But I think I'll be able to avoid having a junction box here. It kind of all depends on how much spare wire I've got inside these boxes too, coiled up behind the switches. So we're gonna go ahead and kill that power and do some of the work on the 2x4s here and see what we get. All right, with the power shut off, I got these outlets pulled out, and fortunately I've got a lot of spare wire to work with here. I wish he wouldn't have cut the sheathing back as far as he did, because it doesn't make it that useful, but there should be enough for me to get where I want to go. And then on the other side in the closet here, I used my right angle adapter on my drill, and I was able to drill a 3/4 inch hole diagonally through there, coming out down here, back there. So I'm going to swing those wires through and see how much I have to work with, and then we'll find a position for the box. As mentioned, the box, I don't think I'll be able to reuse this one because it's for new work. It's nailed right into a stud. I'd probably have to use an old work box, but there's a chance that I could put in a small temporary stud here that'd be screwed into this for stability that I could mount this one onto. So we're going to take a look at that and see what I can do. All right, I got the wires disconnected and pulled through here. You can see we got a little bit of wire there sticking out. Got someone watching me work here too. So because this is shorter than I hoped, actually. This one's got plenty on it, but this one is short, and this one has to be the one closest to the door, so it's got the furthest to go. So I'm not going to be able to reuse that box. It's too deep to fit in here anywhere, and putting a fake stud there wouldn't work. So I'm going to have to actually go buy an old work box that's shallow enough to fit in here, so I can mount it basically just right below where these wires come out. So this one can dump right down into it, and then we'll have enough wire to make the connections. So that's kind of where I'm at for now. I need to make it functional for tonight, so I'm going to wire the switches up and put them in a box temporarily, but tomorrow we'll be getting an old work box and finishing the job. All right, so I went to the home improvement store, and unfortunately they did not have an old work box that was 2.5 inches deep or less. They only had deeper ones. So what I did is I bought this piece here, which is just a shallow standard box, and then I do not want to drop that into the wall. And I want this 1/2 inch mud ring to go over it. The box was not a 2-gang box, it was just a square junction box, so it did not have holes for the switches, but the mud ring does have holes for the switches, so that should be just fine. Put this on there and mount the switches in there like that. It has to be 2.5 inches deep or less because I want to get it as far into this crevice as possible so that my wires reach. So what I did was I slid the box back there, and I went ahead and traced kind of where I want the corner to be, and I drilled a little hole through, and then I was able to go to the other side and square up where I want the box and trace it. So I'm going to go to the other side and show you what that looks like. All right, here's the other side. There's a drill hole I made coming through, and that's the corner I wanted to mark. So then I went and I just traced this box up against the wall, and I'm just score it out with a utility blade and pop that piece out and start installing the new box. All right, so I popped that piece of drywall out and pulled my wires through, got them where I wanted them in the box, and then this type of mounting, I was able to just use 2 screws right in the back and attach it to the stud that's behind it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that mud ring on that I bought and start wiring the switches in. We're getting close here. There the switches are all wired in again like they were before. It's always helpful to take a picture or jot down the wiring before you take it apart so you know exactly what goes where. So I should have them wired up here so these switches are the same order that they were before on the other wall. And we're going to go ahead and put the cover plate on and see how this looks. All right, so we got everything wired up, got the switches in place, and put the cover plate back on here. So we're done with that part of it, getting the electrical to the new spot, the new switches in the right spot. Now I have to deal with the holes we made. So I started here with this one. I used actually the cutout from on this side to fill in this hole here. Behind it, I put a piece of wood, screwed it into the existing drywall, and then I was able to screw the chunk into that. So here's the screw into the old drywall with the wood behind it, and then fresh screws in there. So, and I beveled all these edges here, so when I put the tape on, it won't have a, hopefully won't have a little pucker there, but that's what it looks like there. And then I started on the inside here too. I actually mudded that corner already. Fortunately, it's in a closet, so I don't have to worry about what it ends up looking like. But that's the corner, and then I'll go ahead and again I taper all these so there's room for some mud to get in there. I'll make a nice, strong, smooth seam there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now.